Good afternoon and welcome back, ladies, gents and Pikachus, to another video about the Quran of the Muslims. But actually, it's not really about the Quran of the Muslims. It's more about the people of the Quran of the Muslims. More specifically, how do we deal with these guys? So I don't know whether you've noticed, even though we've been shredding the morality of the Quran absolutely to pieces, and rightly so, we've been doing this factually by going through it verse by verse and decoding what Allah is actually saying to his Muslims, and it's not anything good. But the whole point in this, the overall goal that we have is not just to shit all over another culture, it's not to just make Muslims feel bad, that's not the goal at all. And that is just a symptom, unfortunately, of the work that we've been doing. So I thought to myself, right, now that we have a little bit of wisdom and knowledge about the Quran, how do we practically put that into use so that we can reach these Muslims and turn them from an enemy into a friend, or at least a neutral? You know, we don't want these guys to be enemies, and we don't want to be enemies of theirs. So how do we do that? The Quran isn't going to help us there. It doesn't matter what we know about Quran teachings, nothing in that book is going to make Muslims like us more or hate us any less. So despite we've read it, we need to look elsewhere. This is where we need to look, the Holy Bible of Christ. Now hear me out, I can already hear your eyes rolling about in your head as you say, look, holy books aren't the answer. Let me go through a few of Jesus' teachings and see if I can change your mind. So, the first thing I've noticed when I speak to Muslims is the first thing they do when they come at me is rage. They express rage and anger, and they threaten me and they curse me and they lie to me and they try and manipulate me. And I find that they think in their head, if I can bring the worst out of this guy and then he can demonstrate his anger to me, I can go, you see, evil Jew, and then he feels like he's won. And in a way he has, if that happens. If he tricks me into anger, then he has won. I am indeed an evil Jew for the sake of that conversation. But Jesus said, be not afraid, for I am with you, and I am he. And the reason he said that, I am he, is he's saying he is the guy who God has sent to us to teach us how to deal with that kind of thing and not get angry and not lose our way. Be not afraid, because that person is afraid already. That's why they're attacking you. Their God, Allah, has taught them from a young age throughout their life, even now, that you are the enemy. You have stolen the stuff that they are going without. The problems of their culture and country are because of you. And the only reason you're speaking to them now is not because you want to show them mercy or have peace with them. You're tricking them. You want to do them harm. You want to kill them, really. That's what Allah has told these people. So, be not afraid of them. They actually don't mean you any harm. It's Allah that means you harm. They are speaking the words of Allah. Allah is using their body and mind as an avatar to inflict his hate upon you. So don't be afraid of the Muslim. The Muslim's not the bad guy. Allah is the bad guy who is hiding in the Muslim. So the first thing you've got to realize is when you're listening to Allah attack you, you're speaking to the Muslim when you reply. So be not afraid. Know that Christ is there with you, not with him, not with Allah, with you. Christ is on your side, provided you don't attack the guy back and show that you are in fear. Then you'll lose. Another thing Jesus has said is, when your enemy slaps your cheek, show him the other. Turn the other cheek, for they know not what they do. Again, it's something you will not find in the Quran, but I find there's real wisdom in this. When that guy comes to you in his comments or whatever and goes, you're a fucking evil Jew, Christian, dog, devil, white guy, you're racist, you're an oppressor, you're a colonizer, and gives you the whole flame in the comments thing, you know, to try and upset you so that you attack him. Because remember, if he upsets you and you attack him back, he's then justified. He'll say, well, that's why I attacked him. I knew he was going to try and attack me and I wanted to get in there first. You know, it's just, there's nothing you can do about that attitude. That's Allah, once again, in the head of the Muslim. So the thing to do is withstand that attack. Stand firm. When they attack you, just let them get to the end of it. Let them express their rage over you and don't be offended by it. Turn the other cheek and recognize they know not what they do. They don't know what they're doing that for. They're doing it because Allah has told them to do that. Allah has filled their head with a bunch of lies about how evil and manipulative and greedy and sinful and bad you are. That's why they are attacking you. But turn the other cheek, because they don't know that that's all wrong. They have no idea that that's all wrong. They've learnt from a young age through the teachings of the Quran and Allah that that is right, and you are wrong, and you just have to demonstrate to them that it is not right. But the way to demonstrate to these people, Muslims, that you are not bad is not to get angry and respond with aggression. That's wrong. Don't do that. The way to prove to them that they are wrong is to turn the other cheek. Take a deep breath. Don't respond in anger. And before you know it, you'll think of something intelligent and worthwhile to say that will change their mind. Give charities to the needy, but do it in secret so that as not to offend their sense of self. It's another thing that Jesus said. And I feel like in terms of today, we're not talking about giving them money or food, especially not in a conversation online. When I say give charities to the needy, this guy who comes to attack you, this Muslim who's come with a load of racist, hateful nonsense to shout at you, the charity he needs is mercy. It's not money or food. He needs patience, mercy, and love. And if you're doing good work, if you're coming to him in the spirit of peace, or if you're a Christian and you're trying to do Christ's mission to reach this Muslim and convert him into a nice, peaceful guy, to sake his anger and calm him down, then the charities you need to give this guy are patience, mercy, and love, not anger. There's no point returning fire. He's won, or Allah has won. It's not even him. Allah wins. Every time you return fire with a Muslim, you say something rude and nasty, you respond in kind, Allah wins. Like just a minute ago, someone put a comment down for me, "No offense, bro, you look like a Lebanese gay." And I thought, first of all, I thought, I don't look like a Lebanese gay, and I started to get offended. And then I thought, no, turn the other cheek, ignore the insult. This guy doesn't even know you, and maybe you do look like a Lebanese gay. Fine, all right. So I said, oh, sorry, bro, I can't be your bride. I'm in love with another man. Jesus is the man that I'm in love with, not this guy. So I gave him mercy and patience, and I tried to make light of the situation. And guess what? When I go back in a minute and look at his response, either he won't have responded because this will confound him, he won't know what to say, or he'll see the funny side of it and he'll calm down and I can actually speak to him. Rather than being in an angry situation, then I'm speaking to him, not Allah. Forgive those whom offend you, for mercy is higher than sacrifice. I love this. I absolutely love this. Jesus said, forgive those whom offend you, like that guy trying to make out that I look like some Lebanese gay boy. Forgive him for that. For mercy is higher than sacrifice. Now think about what that means. If he shouts at me and I attack him, I'm sacrificing him to my offended ego. But sacrifice isn't what Christ expects that I'm going to give him or teaches. Mercy is what I need to give him, not sacrifice, and that's why mercy is higher than sacrifice. If I sacrifice him to the altar of my bruised ego, things are not going to go well for either him nor me. We'll just stand up fighting, I'll delete and block him, and it'll be one less person that I can reach, one less Muslim that I can be friends with. And he'll think, evil Jew, he'll be justified. So I have to show him my mercy, and what that means is letting him do his little insulting bit and trying to see the funny side of it and thinking maybe he's having a bad day, maybe his father beats him, maybe he's gay and he hates that he can't come out because in his country they throw gays off buildings. There's a million reasons why he might be justified in his anger, even though it's not me. He's not justified giving me that anger. If I'm merciful and I put myself in his position, I can come up with a million good reasons why he might be justified in being angry. And if I'm merciful, I will allow him to express that anger. I'll take it on the chin, turn the other cheek, show him my mercy, forgive him, and be not afraid. And then I will come out with that intelligent response that can reach him at a human level, and we can start getting along. Oh, I love this one. Before you remove the speck in your neighbour's eye, how about dealing with the plank in your eye? This one takes a little bit more breaking down. So the parable of the speck and the plank, what that means is when you approach someone and you want to tell them off for something, like if I am approaching a Muslim and I want to say, look, your culture sucks, you want to cut people's heads off for no reason, you subjugate your women, you're thieves, you're liars, you're murderers, and all this stuff. I'm trying to attack the speck in his eye. But what I haven't realised is I've got a whole plank of wood in my eye, because as I'm telling him these things, he's not going to listen to me. I know nothing about this guy's life. I know absolutely nothing about him more than he's a Muslim. It's just a title. It's just a word, a label that I've attached to him. And I might be completely right. He might be a stock Allah-loving Muslim who hates the evil Jew and British evil coloniser that he sees in me, and that might be his personality. But he might just be having a bad day. Or he might be sat there with his dad behind him, trying to keep up appearances to his dad, who is a Muslim, so that he can be praised and not be in trouble. But in his head, he might actually be thinking, I don't really want to be saying this. Like, give the guy an excuse, and then you remove the plank from your eye so you can see what's going on. And after you've done that, then maybe we can do something about the speck in his eye. Receive your blessing freely and offer them the same. So Jesus, in this line, means you have a lot of blessing in your life, whether you like to admit it or not, whether you're grateful for these things. When you wake up, you have temperate weather, you have food in your fridge, electricity in your wires, light and heat and companionship. You can leave your house and speak to your family and friends. You have a job to earn money. The traffic lights work. You can switch on the radio and listen to music that doesn't offend you, that's good. And you generally have a good life. There's tons of blessings in your life. So as you receive and you use those blessings in your life, and it's not like you wake up and go, I need to have electricity, please, and please pray for electricity, and then you get it. You just get it. You don't have to do anything for it. You pay your bill at the end of the month, and even if you don't pay your bill, you'll still get electricity. So what Christ is saying here is, since you have so many blessings in your life, and you are in a good elevated position where you should be able to be nice and kind to people, offer those blessings to others the same. What that means is, if someone needs something from you and you can give it to them, you should. And don't ask them for something back. They'll be grateful or they won't. Don't enforce gratefulness on someone. The reason you're giving these mercies and these charities and these politenesses to people is not so you can get a pat on the head and be a good boy. It's so you can be a good person. You can actually do something worthwhile with your time. And you can be, a moral human being. You're not doing it for reward. It is the reward that you have become that person. And that's what it means by receive your blessings freely. Don't go chasing them and begging for stuff, or, you don't have to. You just get all this stuff freely. And likewise, if you see someone in need, you should give something to them. Even if it's a Muslim who hates you. You don't know. It might just be Allah that hates you, and they might just be the man in the middle. Oh, this is a good one. Be wise as snakes, but gentle as doves. Now, I'm a bird lover, as many of my viewers will know. I fucking love doves and pigeons. They're some of my favourite kind of birds. And one of the things I love about pigeons and doves is when you first feed them, they won't let you get too close. They don't even like you looking at them. They get shy and they'll fly away. But after a while, doves are really nice, gentle creatures. They're almost like pets. I've had them fly in my house and sit on my furniture and just sit next to me and sort of intently watch me while I'm typing away on my computer. And I really love the gentle soul of the dove. But a dove is a success. The reason there's millions of pigeons and doves is not because they're gentle. It's because they're wise. Like we saw when I originally started feeding them, they wouldn't let me go up near to them, they wouldn't let me pet them. You couldn't even look at them or they'd fly off in fear. And that's them being as wise as a snake. So that is what Christ is asking of us, especially when we're dealing with Muslims who have this fanciful idea that we're demons that want to kill them. We don't. But likewise, be gentle, like I'm saying as I'm going through this list. Show all these mercies to the Muslims. Don't treat them like an enemy. But be as wise as a snake. Recognize when someone is actually going to attack you. When they are trying to lure you into saying something stupid so they can report your comment, or if they're fishing to try and make you say something that they can attack, just be aware of that. Not everyone is going to be nice. Not everyone is going to be, kind. Some people aren't going to be, and you have to be wise to pick those people out. But at the same time, don't expect that everybody is going to be like that. Be gentle. And make sure you don't pick on the wrong person. He whom is without sin should cast the first stone. Now, everyone knows this parable. A woman's getting stoned, and there's a big crowd, and Jesus walks up and says, why are you going to stone this woman? And they say, oh, she's sinful, she's horrible, she's a whore, she's done this and that and the other. And they're all looking to get this stoning started because it's like it's an event, it's entertainment for them. And Jesus says, okay then, because they want to know who can throw the first stone. And Jesus says, if anyone among you is without sin, show your hand. You can throw the first stone, he who is without sin. And each one of them has sinned. Every single person in that crowd knows they've sinned. No one is blameless. So in the end, they leave and they don't stone the woman. And the point of that is to say, although you might have right to shout at someone or be angry at them like they do, be angry and shout at you, nobody is blameless. Nobody on earth is sinless. So when it comes to condemning someone for their sins, especially if you don't know them, or it's not even an individual, it's a group full of individuals, don't condemn someone unless you yourself are sinless, and you are not sinless. So don't condemn people unless you know for a fact that you have a right to. And even then, turn the other cheek if you can and try and be forgiving. See, all these things add up to an ideal of a person that Jesus Christ of Nazareth is and was and will be. That is the perfect person that we should all try to be like. Especially when we're faced with these Muslim guys who don't know any better than to attack us, mistakenly thinking because Allah has brainwashed them that they have to kill us in order to be safe. Or that we're going to try and kill them when we're not. These are the things we are faced with. And if we put these into practice, these parables of Jesus, every single one of these is a parable of Jesus. If we put these into practice, whether or not we believe, this is going to generate a result for us, ladies, gents and Pikachus. And this is how we're going to win this, this culture war, if you like. Allah and the Quran, there's nothing like this in there. The Quran doesn't lead people to be friends. The Quran won't lead you to make your enemies tame and polite and nice to you. The Quran is instructions to kill your enemies. And if you don't, you will die yourself. But we can't think like that. We know that is brainwashing. This is the way to deal with that. Exercise justice and mercy amongst the nations. This is fantastic, isn't it? So what Jesus is saying here is while you're traveling around the different nations, and in terms of the internet, this is like while you're visiting other people's videos or pages, or you're speaking to someone on their patch, exercise justice and mercy. Now think about that. What is justice and mercy? Not out of the Quran. We know in the Quran, mercy is cutting someone's head off who's a non-believer, and justice is being righteous, attacking your enemies. But in terms of Christ and our values here, justice means doing the right thing by all parties, not just yourself. And mercy means doing that with a kind, gentle soul. So this is telling us when we're in someone else's patch on their page or video or somewhere else that is not our property, not our place or our page, we can expect justice for ourselves but also for them. And the way that we're going to get that is by being merciful, not overreacting to things, not being tricked into an angry response, not being baited into a fight which we didn't want. Mercy is the way to get justice, and mercy and justice are the way to get peace. And that brings us to our last, the 10th point. Oh, I love this one the most. Jesus said the fishermen will catch bigger in the deeper waters. And what that means is, you are the fisherman or woman. I am the fisherman. And what we're trying to do is catch people. We're not trying to catch fish. We're trying to catch people so that we can befriend them. And that's what the hook and the line of the fisherman analogy is you're throwing your hook out when you speak to someone to try and catch their attention on the end of the hook of the thing that you say. But the reason Jesus says here, you will catch bigger in deeper waters, is because in the deeper waters is when people least expect you're going to give them that grace and mercy. When you're deep in enemy territory, when you're deep in a conversation full of Muslims and you're the only person there who's not, the last thing that they're going to expect is grace, mercy, love and compassion and forgiveness and wisdom. So if you drop that little hook of grace, mercy, compassion, wisdom and all the other things in there, you'll catch big. That's what Jesus is telling you. Don't be afraid. Turn the other cheek. Give charities to the needy, but don't make it obvious because you don't want to upset their ego. Forgive those who offend you. Remove the speck from your eye before you worry about theirs. Be wise as a snake, gentle as a dove. Remember that you are not sinless. And the most important thing, exercise justice and mercy wherever you go, especially when you're in other people's areas or, conversations. And if you do that, you will be that fisherman that wades fearlessly into the deeper waters to drop down your hook of compassion and peace, and you will make that big catch. And that's how we need to approach these Muslims, not like the Muslim is the bad guy. Allah inside the Muslim is the bad guy, and we need to make the hook on the person, not on Allah. If you hook the person away from Allah, then you will see the peace and compassion and love in their soul. And you can be equally friendly and not enemies. So that's the end of this video. Oh my god, 21 minutes. It went on a lot longer than I thought, but I hope I've really made the point to you that this book here, the Holy Bible of Christ the Lord, Christ Jesus the Lord, hallelujah. This guy, he's got all the answers. And the answers are what we need when we're faced with people who think this guy has all the answers. Because he just doesn't. So that's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed that and you learned something. I'm going to go to bed now, but tomorrow we're going to crack on with the last page of Surah 1 in Without Lies Islam Dies. So I'll see you then at 7:15 AM. Until then, have a good night, sleep well, and I will see you in the next one. Bye now. At the end of the day, there is only one future world for us all, and so we need to figure out a way to get there together. And that's the end of this video, so have a good night, God bless, and I will see you in the next one. Bye now.